उमज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So here, continuing with the description of a living entity, an attached householder engaged in all forms of sense gratification, not considering his future. So if he passes his life in such a way, what will happen at the time of death and after his death? So in the previous verses we saw how very ungloriously he has to leave his body in the mortal world, and then now we are seeing the description immediately after his death, what happens. So in these three verses we see how the Yamadutas, they have come with their ropes. They have tied the individual soul along with his subtle body, and they have dragged him out of his body, and they are taking him to the abode of Yamaraja. He, on the path while passing, there are many dogs which have bitten him, and he is remembering his all sinful activities. And in today's verse we see like 3 verses, the description are given when Yamadutas are taking him to the abode of Yamaraja, what all sufferings the individual soul is made to undergo. Kshut Trit Parito, he is suffering due to hunger and thirst. No food, no water. And the path, Arka Dava Anala Anilaihi. Yeah. Arka means the sun, Davanala forest fires, and Anilaha winds. So in the path there is scorching sun above, forest fires surrounding everywhere, and winds are bringing those flames of the fire towards him. Santapyamanaha Pati, Pati means on that road, Santapyamanaha, being scorched. And then, surrounding there is forest fire and hot air, the winds are bringing. On the top there is scorching sunlight. And how about the bottom, the road? Tapta Valuke, there is hot sand. Krichrena, very painfully he has to pass through that path. We remember the story of Sanatana Goswami. When he was called by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri, he passed through the sand on the beach in the hot sun, midday sun, and because of which there were blisters on his feet because of the hot sand. So like, of course, Sanatana Goswami did not feel the pain. He was very happy to go and meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But that's not the case with all of us, especially living entities engrossed in sense gratification, and for them, if such punishment is given, it is very, very painful. Krichreda, with very great pain, he has to pass through this path. And further, prishte kashayacha taditaha, and he is finding very difficulty because of hunger, no food, no nourishment, no water, and he feels fatigued and he is unable to move on that path. And when the Yamadutas see him unable to walk or not matching their speed, they take their whips and beat on his back. Prishte, that is on the back, kashayacha taditaha. Taking their whips, they beat him up. Chalati ashakto api nirashramodake. Ashaktaha is unable to walk, and nirashrama udake, there is no place to take rest, and there is no udaka, water for him to drink. And in that condition, unable to walk, still the Yamadutas are pulling him, dragging him and beating him on his back with their whips. So this is his condition. Next, continuing. Tatra tatra patan shranto. Patan, he falls down again and again. Tatra tatra patan shrantaha. He is fully fatigued, tired. He falls now and then. Murchitaha punaruttitaha. Murchitaha means he becomes unconscious, and when he becomes unconscious, the Yamadutas forcibly they beat him up and bring him back to consciousness, and punaruttitaha, again he is made to walk forcibly. Patha papi yasanitas, in that path which is very inauspicious, he is being forced to walk. Tarasa yamasadanam, and quickly he is brought to the abode of Yamaraja. And here in the next verse we see the distance of the soul has to travel to reach the abode of Yamaraja. Yojananam sahasrani. So here in the purport, Prabhupada mentions the calculation that how 1 yojana is calculated to be 8 miles. So yojananam sahasrani navatim navachadvanaha, a distance of navatim navacha advanaha, 99,000 yojanas. So this is the distance he has to travel, and this great distance he has to travel tribhir muhurtair dvabhyam va, dvabhyam tribhir muhurtair, within just 2 or 3 muhurtas. Just within a span of time of 2 or 3 muhurtas, he has to travel a distance of 99,000 yojanas. When multiplied by 8, that is 1 yojana 8 miles, it comes to 7,92,000 miles within 2 to 3 muhurtas. Nitaha prapnoti yatana. And all of this great, whatever krichrena, painful journey we are hearing of, And after going there, what is there? To continue his suffering. He will be awarded whatever punishment by Yamaraja. Nitaha prapnoti yatanaha. To get more punishment, more painful or suffering conditions, he is made to pass through through all of these things. Hot sand, surrounded by forest fires, scorching sunlight, no water, no food, and he is falling unconscious, very tired. The Yamadutas are beating again and again through their whips on his back and dragging him to the abode of Yamaraja for further punishment. So this is the condition of a man who is engrossed in sense gratificatory activities in his when he was made to stay in this mortal world, performing all kinds of sinful activities for the purpose of his sense gratification. This will be the result. So here we need to consider all of these things, as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, as one of the items of knowledge: Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, Dukkha, Doshanu, Darshanam. So we should be aware of what happens when we die. If this knowledge is not there, then what do? Foolishly, ignorantly, we engage ourselves in sense gratificatory activities. Nunam pramatta kurute vikarma yadindriya pritaya aprunoti. If at all he is left for himself, he is not in knowledge, what does he do? Simply he performs activities of sense gratification. And once he involves in the sense gratification, lusty activities, what will happen? He wants more of it. Because of his past karma, he would have got some quantum of objects of pleasure, objects of sense gratification, and he indulges in that, and it doesn't stop there. He wants more, he becomes greedy. If he doesn't get it, what does he do? He engages in sinful activities. He sees another person having that, he becomes envious of him. If he sees only he has that and others doesn't have, he becomes proud of it. It's a big network of illusion he falls into. And due to all of these things, the sufferings we see as described in this portion of Bhagavatam. In the purport to that verse, Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, Srila Prabhupada writes in this way: because we forget how much distress we have suffered within the womb of the mother, we do not make any solution to the repetition of birth and death. Similarly, at the time of death, there are all kinds of sufferings, and they are also mentioned in the authoritative scriptures. These should be discussed. So Prabhupada says here, we should discuss of what happens when we die, what sufferings we undergo when we take birth, diseases, old age. Prabhupada says here, these things should be discussed. And as far as disease and old age are concerned, everyone gets practical experience. No one wants to be diseased and no one wants to become old, but there is no avoiding these. Unless we have a pessimistic view of this material life, considering the distresses of birth, death, old age and disease, there is no impetus for us, there is no impetus for our making advancement in spiritual life. So here, this is the point we need to note. All of these things, birth, death, old age, differing sufferings involved in all of these things, should act as an impetus for us for our making advancement in spiritual life. Just like last class we were hearing about the instructions given by Yamaraja to his servants, wherein he glorifies the chanting of the holy names of the Lord, performance of devotional service. So, if at all we want to avoid all of these sufferings, so all these sufferings should make us inspired, should make us enthused to take up all kinds of spiritual activities more seriously. If we don't do these things, if we don't voluntarily involve ourselves in varieties of spiritual engagements, the end result would be as we are seeing in these verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. So as we have heard from Prabhupada how there are varieties of people, different classes of intelligence. The first class intelligent person, he understands by hearing. Second class, he sees others suffering and then he learns. The third class, he is made to undergo all these sufferings, only then he will learn. So we need to choose for ourselves where we belong to, first class or second class or third class. See, it's always better we hear what will happen and we are well prepared to face it. So we are hearing now from this portion of the Bhagavatam how the Yamadutas mercilessly take the conditioned living entity to the abode of Yamaraja, the pain what he undergoes. So if at all we want to avoid this kind of situation, we have to take up spiritual life very seriously. So this should act as an impetus for us to make advancement in our spiritual life. Now, in contrary to this, we find in the same Bhagavatam description of other great devotees, how they give up their body. We have heard of description of Bhishma Deva, how he gave up his body in the first canto of Bhagavatam. He waited for a specific auspicious moment. He gave very nice instructions to his grandson Maharaja Yudhishthira. And in the presence, personal presence of Lord Krishna, fixing his eyes on the beautiful form of the Supreme Lord, offering beautiful prayers to the Supreme Lord, he gave up his body. And when he gave up his body, the residents of upper planetary systems, all of them, they showered flowers, they beated their kettle drums and made auspicious sounds, and he went back. We have heard similar to the passing of Bhishma Deva in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the passing of Haridas Thakur. Even Haridas Thakur, he requested Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fulfilled his desire on how he has to quit his body in the presence of Mahaprabhu, amidst all the devotees performing wonderful kirtana, taking the dust of the devotees assembled there on his head, chanting Krishna Chaitanya, Krishna Chaitanya. He gave up his body. And then we have heard of how Vidura, it is said how Vidura earlier was actually Yamaraja. After his duration of the term, he was cursed by Mandika Rishi. He was born as a Shudra, and in the Prabhasa Kshetra, when he left his body, when he went back, all the residents of Pitruloka, they greeted him and wonderfully received him back in that abode. And then one more is, I can remember, like Dhruva Maharaja. When Dhruva, when he gave up his body, how an aeroplane was sent to him, two residents of Vaikuntha, Nanda and Sunanda, they had come along with the airplane to receive Maharaja Dhruva. And I'll read that portion from the Bhagavatam, how Dhruva, when he gave up his body, how he left this world. When Dhruva Maharaja was attempting to get on to the transcendental plane, he saw death personified approach him. Not caring for death, however, he took advantage of the opportunity to put his feet on the head of death, and thus he got up on the airplane, which was as big as a house. So here in this portion of Bhagavatam, we are seeing how a sinful man is dragged to the abode of Yamaraja forcibly, making him suffer in varieties of ways. But Maharaja Dhruva, when he was attempting to get on to the transcendental plane, which had specifically come for him from Vaikuntha, so he saw death personified, but he did not care for him. But he used him for what? He took advantage of the opportunity to put his feet on the head of death, and thus he got up onto the airplane. So death personified, he stepped over him and got on to that airplane to go back to the abode of the Supreme Lord. So this is how the devotees, they encounter their end or death. On the other hand, sinful people, very miserably, they have to give up. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes how to take the passing away of a devotee and the passing away of a non-devotee as one and the same is completely misleading. While ascending the transcendental airplane, Dhruva Maharaja suddenly saw death personified before him, but he was not afraid. Instead of death's giving him trouble, Dhruva Maharaja took advantage of death's presence and put his feet on the head of death. People with a poor fund of knowledge do not know the difference between the death of a devotee and the death of a non-devotee. Srila Prabhupada again gives the example of the cat carrying the kitten and carrying the rat. Externally it may appear same, but the experience which they undergo is completely different. So, if at all we have to avoid the suffering conditions as described here, which a sinful man has to undergo, we have to take to devotional path, become devotees of the Supreme Lord. And is it that devotees won't die? No, they also give up the body, they also die. But the experience which they undergo is not the same. We are completely on the spiritual or transcendental platform. So now, after hearing all these things, as I told you different varieties of intelligence. First class intelligence we hear and we accept and we follow. But even after hearing these things sufficiently, still a living entity, because of the influence of Maya, the Avaranatmika Shakti, the Prakshepatmika Shakti, which covers his real intelligence and which bewilders him, makes him commit sinful activities again and again and again. He knows this is wrong, he knows he has to suffer for this. Still, when some sense gratification, some objects are there, he falls for it. And how does he fall? Just like in today's conversation we read. This devotee nicely explained. Dhananjaya, he says, I have seen sometimes at the Sunday feast, we make some sweets like sweet balls, maybe referring to gulab jamun and the liquid there. And there is some leftover. They'd find the next day so many drowned ants because they'd been so wild, they'd jump into it and drown themselves. There is that sweet and the liquid which is left over, and the next day the devotees go and find many ants are drowned in that sweet. And this devotee is explaining how, looking at that whatever sweet, the ants have become wild and they go and jump into it and they drown and lose their life. Similarly, many examples of like the moths, they look at that fire, very attractive, very bright, and they just go and whatever, put themselves into the fire and get burned and lose their life. So this is how living entities, practically they lose their life, they spend their life in all kinds of the sense gratification, completely forgetful of what happens at the time of death and after death. So Prabhupada says how? Labdva sudurlabham idam bahu sambhavante. Actually this is a quotation or instruction given by Prahlada Maharaja to his friends. Labdva sudurlabhamidam bahu sambhavante. This human form of life is obtained after many millions of whatever varieties of bodies he has to undergo, and finally he gets this human form of life. Bahu sambhavante. And how is this human form of life? This is arthadam, and it is anityam. It is temporary but full of meaning in it, or arthadam means full of value in it. Because only in this human form of life we can understand all these things to some extent and then make ourselves eligible to go back to Godhead. If we don't use this human form of life for this purpose, then again and again and again, punah punah charvita charvanana, the living entity will commit sinful activities for sense gratification and simply suffer. So Prabhupada continues to say how, my dear human being, please note, you have got this form of life after many births. Bahu sambhavante. You had to undergo the aquatic life, 9 lakh species, the birds, the trees, plants, 2 million species. How much time it has gone by for this evolution. Now you have come to the human form of life. It is arthadam, human form of life. Now you can achieve success. Although it is temporary, anityam, but you can achieve the highest perfection, Therefore, Turnam Yateta Anumrityu Yavan. Turnam, quickly you endeavor for this purpose. What purpose? Before the next death, you have to become dexterous to complete and become successful. So what is this success? Completely getting rid of this human form of body, entanglement in this material world, because we are there in this material world means forcibly, helplessly we involve in sense gratification and sinful activities, and because of sinful activities become eligible to suffer in the hands of Yamadutas the way it is given in this verse. So the only option is we have to become dexterous, serious in our spiritual practices, and after hearing all of these suffering conditions, we have to be, this should act as an impetus for us to take up our spiritual life more seriously. We'll end with this. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.